With a collection of 2,000 costumes and numerous discarded artistic concepts, ranging from an unproduced film by Alexander Jodorowsky to David Lynch's reimagined medieval designs, Denis Villeneuve, renowned for directing Blade Runner 2049, has unveiled the continuation of Frank Herbert's iconic saga, Dune. Hello everyone, you are on the Cinema.Fashion channel, and today we will talk about the extremely visually beautiful and symbolic adaptation of Dune. I am a big supporter of creativity, both of a writer and a director, so of course I cannot pass by without telling you everything I know about the visual style of the characters and the symbolism of their images. In this video, you will discover the process behind crafting the visual aesthetic of Dune. What do Russian imperialism and the Atreides family have in common? Why Stillsuit is the clothing of the future? But are the navigators and Bene Gesserit really a reflection of the ministers of the Orthodox Church? So spice up your coffee and let's get started.
Rack it up, I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots.
Denis Villeneuve, known for his work on Dune, is no stranger to crafting futuristic realms. His approach is notably successful. Villeneuve avoids overcrowding the screen with excessive futuristic elements and fantastical styles. His fantastical realm is intricately detailed yet minimalistic. This aesthetic is evident in both Blade Runner and Herbert's latest trilogy. Villeneuve's characters resemble figures from romantic paintings, where individuals are minor components within vast, grand settings and possess limited influence on the world around them. However, Villeneuve's characters remain relatable to contemporary audiences. Their style is not excessively fantastical like in the vibrant 2010 film adaptation, nor does it depict a new technological Middle Ages akin to David Lynch's work. Villeneuve opts for a distinct approach, as he articulates that don't want it to be like a fantasy movie or a video game. Therefore, the selection of costume artists for the Dune adaptation was a deliberate choice by the director. Given that the events in Dune occur thousands of years later, Villeneuve sought artists with extensive experience in crafting costumes across various historical eras in cinema. Jacqueline West, known for her work on films like The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Invasion, and The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, was chosen along with Bob Morgan, a skilled artist who contributed to movies such as Inception and Maleficent Mistress of Evil. Villeneuve envisioned Dune not as a traditional sci-fi epic but as a unique blend of historical and fantasy elements to offer a fresh and philosophical cinematic experience. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Jacqueline West stated that in past projects such as Survivor and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, she would rely on written descriptions of the clothing worn during the period. However, aside from the stillsuit, Herbert did not go into the exact details of the costumes in the novels, so she was forced to look elsewhere for inspiration. West stated that Hebert created a feeling. That feeling is so deep in Denis' gut, he has such a strong, intimate feeling for this prophetic masterpiece. So Denis became my barometer. Villeneuve wanted to create a film unlike any other science fiction project, something, as he said, from another world, complex and at the same time stylish. That is, no foil, bright purple leggings, and crazy makeup, which are often the sin of films about the distant future. Each planet has its own color palette and style. In addition, each character in the film goes through his own individual path and their clothes change, both due to personal transformations and under the influence of the external environment. That is, we have here a peculiar concept of duality. What is internal is simultaneously external. Villeneuve managed what no one else had managed to do before to portray the feeling described in Herbert's book. The film introduces us to Caladan, the initial planet where the Atreides reside. This lush planet is abundant in vegetation, water, and frequent rainfall. The dominant color of the Atreides house is green to reflect the planet's characteristics, with hints of gray and blue tones also present in the visuals. The color palette is directly linked to the planet and the hero's background. Additionally, the Atreides family palette includes red, which is closely associated with Lady Jessica. Fans of lore or Herbert's books will recognize the connection between the ruling house of Caladan and the bull symbol. The presence of red in Jessica's attire hints at the imminent danger approaching the house of Paul Muad'Dib. Similarly, the Harkonnen attire reflects their planet and family legacy. GD Prime, the Harkonnen planet, is depicted as a dark and somber location, fitting for the main antagonist of the trilogy. Herbert himself hinted that the House of Harkonnen could be equated with the Nazis of this universe. Once a planet rich in resources, Gedi Prime transformed into a barren desert after their depletion. This technocratic black and white desert landscape inspired the primary color choice of black for the Harkonnen house. To effectively portray the tragedy of the fall of the House of Atreides, filmmakers chose to parallel it with the poignant story of another family, the Russian Romanovs. The silhouette and intricate designs bear a striking resemblance to attire from the early 20th century Russian Empire. Particularly, the dresses worn by Jessica and the war uniforms of the Atreides echo this historical influence. Some observers draw parallels to British military attire or see it as a well-crafted reinterpretation of Herbert's literary descriptions of the House of Atreides uniforms. While Villeneuve made efforts to align with Herbert's vision, few noticed the striking similarity between the Muad'Dib family's military uniform and the Russian military garb of the 19th century, where buttons were replaced with magnets, hinting at a futuristic setting. A lot of wealth, a lot of power, and a bit of the Romanovs, Bob Morgan noted, we wanted to show they're coming from a place of age and richness and moisture and grain, oceans and wealth and establishment, and that was the thought behind their dress uniforms and her dresses in the beginning. Costume designers tried to illustrate the rich origins and high status of the characters through their formal attire. Costumes are a reflection of individuality, conveying significant messages in movies, especially in a narrative as rich as Dune. Morgan intentionally mirrored the Atreides house style after the renowned imperial family to evoke a sense of impending fate, even for those unfamiliar with the book. The mysterious fate of the Romanovs in 1917, their tragic downfall, and the subsequent mythologizing in Western culture all contribute to the intricate storytelling woven into the costumes of Dune. In the futuristic world, the stillsuit emerges as a crucial technology detailed in both the novels and Frank Herbert's notes. Costume designer Bob Morgan emphasized its significance as the primary attire in the film. Ensuring the stillsuit's comfort and visual appeal for all actors in the real deserts of Jordan posed a challenge, which the wardrobe designer met admirably. Jacqueline and Bob meticulously crafted costumes that aid in water preservation for the indigenous people of the planet Arrakis. Each unique costume tailored to the actors' bodies required intricate precision to mirror their every movement. The complex stillsuits, involving a meticulous process from conception to production, demanded the expertise of a diverse team, including concept artist Keith Christensen and sculptor Jose Fernandez. However, the most challenging aspect was replicating the liquid collection and filtration system featured in the books within the stillsuits. This intricate labyrinth of bags and tubes not only filtered water but also regulated body temperature. The system, positioned near the feet and activated by muscle movement, relied on a network of pumps to execute its functions effectively. To develop the stillsuit, the team of costume designers rented a real factory specializing in tailoring clothes. The factory had 4 departments, each responsible for producing different parts of the suit. Initially, forms were crafted, followed by the modeling process. Crafting one stillsuit took approximately 2 weeks. Each suit was custom-tailored to fit the dimensions of individual actors, posing a unique challenge due to the size differences between a petite Chani and a robust Duncan. The creators had to design separate fluid collection bags and tubes, strategically placing them throughout the suit to ensure they looked aesthetically pleasing and fit well on various body types. Actors had differing opinions on the stillsuits from the movie. Javier Bardem found the suit very comfortable and expressed his love for wearing it, while Josh Brolin joked about him needing another costume. Both West and Morgan highlighted the influence of past fashion on Dune's futuristic wardrobe. Prior to creating the stillsuit, designers extensively researched the traditional attire of Bedouins in Morocco and Jordan. They also focused on the vital importance of staying cool in desert conditions and predicted that stillsuits could become essential beyond just the film's heroes, considering the global climate. In the initial movie, there's a moment where Paul closely observes a black beetle moving across the dune sands. While this scene may appear random, it hints at the impending Harkonnen invasion and their return to Arrakis. The family's costumes were crafted drawing inspiration from medieval depictions of insects and other creeping reptiles such as spiders, ants, praying mantises, beetles, and lizards. The textures of these beetles were utilized to design the tough shells of their cloaks and armor, portraying the Harkonnens as invaders prepared to exploit the planet's resources. This design also links them to the beetle constellation visible from Arrakis. Furthermore, the insect world is further detailed in the film. If the Baron's attire in the first movie resembles a scorpion's mantle, in the second film, the Baron's mantle reflects the characteristics of a different insect, as hinted by the director in the final scenes. If you've guessed it right, share your thoughts in the comments. The artistic arsenal was fully utilized to highlight their extreme cruelty to the fullest. The Harkonnens exclusively wear dark, heavy, thick fabrics with metal accents and padding, resembling the modern military army attire. Their army outfits feature armored vests with shoulder pads and army berets with hefty soles, intensifying their menacing presence. A striking feature of the Harkonnen attire is their insect-like helmets, portraying them as ruthless predators always prepared for battle. In the second Dune movie, Villeneuve delves deeper into Gedi Prime, the planet of the Harkonnens, elaborating on the world of the dark predators of the Dune universe. Apart from the insects, another intriguing detail in the Harkonnen style is how the residents of Gedi Prime lose their human form as they become more malicious, achieved through effective direction and shot composition. Observe closely the appearance of the victims and compare them to the dressed Harkonnen soldiers or spice collectors. Denis Villeneuve himself acknowledged that his primary concerns regarding costumes were the appearance of the distillery and the design for the Baron. The director's focus was on ensuring that the Baron appeared menacing and strong, deviating from past adaptations where the character sometimes seemed comical and circus-like, lacking the intended impact. In the book, Vladimir Harkonnen is described as a hefty 180-kilogram man who relies on special suspensions to move due to his weight. Villeneuve aimed to depict the Baron as formidable and intimidating, leading the team to avoid the bright concepts seen in previous adaptations. Despite Baron Harkonnen being notably affluent and intelligent in Dune, he opts for plain dark attire, like a black robe, to emphasize his inherent power. Denis Villeneuve, in an article for the Los Angeles Times, revealed that Baron Harkonnen's choice of a simple black robe was to portray him as graceful and somewhat feminine in his movements. The Baron's imposing presence made flashy displays of wealth unnecessary, as he was well aware of his intimidating aura. Frank Herbert has openly stated his belief that George Lucas drew inspiration from his novels when crafting the Star Wars saga. Therefore, incorporating various elements from the iconic epic Dune could be seamlessly achieved without any suggestion of plagiarism. From Lady Jessica's hooded dresses and robes to Duncan Idaho's attire, these costumes subtly allude to planets in a distant galaxy. It's interesting to note that many of Lady Jessica's outfits would fit right in Padme Amidala's wardrobe in the Star Wars prequel trilogy. In the film, the Bene Gesserit sisterhood initially comes across as a fervent religious sect, but their nature is more diverse. According to Herbert, the Bene Gesserit is a multifaceted organization encompassing social, religious, and political aspects. It serves as an ancient institution focusing on physical and mental training, founded by women post the Great Jihad War that eradicated thinking machines and robots. With the shift away from artificial intelligence following the human-machine conflicts, humanity sought new technological paths for civilization's continuity. The Order ardently embraced this new human mission. While a detailed explanation of the Order's lore is complex, this overview clarifies that the Bene Gesserit are distinct from nuns or witches, despite initial appearances. In Tanya Lapointe's book The Art and Soul of Dune, the costumes of the Bene Gesserit were inspired by tarot cards, chess pieces, and depictions of medieval nuns. Similarly, the costumes of the Navigators Guild also carry occult and religious symbolism. This guild, a space corporation with a monopoly on interstellar transportation and banking, was composed of human mutants altered by consuming large quantities of spices. These mutants were the only ones capable of piloting the massive highliners through space. Despite officially staying out of politics, the Space Guild's monopoly status made it a significant pillar supporting the Empire. The images of these two prominent factions share similarities with Orthodox clergy and mystical practices of the occult. They both serve as tools for divination and can represent spiritual and mystical symbols as well as religious authorities. The resemblance to the traditional attire of priests and nuns highlights the religious inertia within Dune society and the deep-seated devotion to the guild's beliefs. This devotion echoes the medieval religious elite's preference for those they deemed chosen by God to lead others towards a deeper comprehension of the divine. The bodysuits made by the Fremen enable them to navigate through the desert and transform body moisture into vital water, yet they are a somberly dark color. This raises the question, wouldn't it be more rational for the stillsuits to match the hue of the desert sands they traverse? The rationale behind this question lies in the origins of the stillsuits crafted by the Fremen tribes. Even upon Jessica's initial arrival on Arrakis, their appearance reflects a stylized form of historical attire worn by nomadic desert tribes. Both in reality and in Dune, these garments primarily shield the wearer from high temperatures to ensure a comfortable existence in the harsh Dune desert. On Arrakis, water holds sacred importance, as Herbert extensively elaborates on in his depiction of Fremen life. The dark color of the stillsuit in intense heat prompts increased perspiration, resulting in more water production, a crucial necessity on this planet. Furthermore, the practicality of this color choice includes enhancing the actors' visibility against the sandy landscape and aiding their prominence in desert scenes. In the first movie, we are introduced to only two heroines from the Bene Gesserit, Lady Jessica and Reverend Mother Gaia Elena Mohiam. The second installment reveals more members of this order, notably the Emperor Irulan's daughter. A distinct feature of these three heroines' attire is the veil. The Reverend Mother wears it consistently. Jessica's headdress in her new role includes several chains, creating a subtle metal veil, and Irulan initially dons a beaded cap akin to Gaia Elena's before transitioning to a silk headdress adorned with elaborate beadwork, covering most of her head with beads, leaving only her face exposed. Towards the end of the film, the Empress is depicted wearing a knight's helmet, a metal veil enveloping her head and restricting her view of her surroundings. Of significance, Irulan eventually removes her veil in the concluding moments of the movie, revealing her face once more. The recurring presence of veils prompts contemplation. What insights do these veils offer about the heroines? In the Dune universe's context, veils symbolize hindrance to understanding the Bene Gesserit. Herbert's book elaborates on the Bene Gesserit's practices with a focus on body control as paramount. Members of the Bene Gesserit meticulously observe their environment, including individuals around them, discerning truth from falsehood through changes in body language, facial expressions, and energy levels, surpassing conventional lie detectors. The Reverend Mother's veiled face signifies spiritual blindness, choosing ignorance over acknowledging truths, guided solely by sisterly codes and personal interests. Irulan, initially influenced by Gaia Elena, sheds this influence by discarding the veil towards the film's end. Jessica exists in a unique, altered state of consciousness during the film, presenting herself as someone other than her true self. To avoid spoilers, the revelation of this distinctive state and Irulan's comprehension can only be unveiled through watching the movie. In previous screen adaptations, the Emperor was depicted as extremely lavish. However, Villeneuve has introduced a new concept, with costume designers creating a completely unconventional image this time. According to the books, Emperor is an ancient ruler from a noble lineage who has ruled the universe for approximately 10,000 years during the film's events. Over these millennia, the Emperor has no need to prove himself to anyone. He is portrayed as a stern yet wise leader, imparting the same wisdom to his daughter. The Emperor embodies an Oriental sage, displaying a poised, composed, and subtly cunning demeanor. He subdues his adversaries through intermediaries, orchestrates schemes to maintain his authority, and constructs intricate plans within plans. As a result, the Emperor's attire is not the conventional bright and flashy style, but rather tranquil and harmonious in an Oriental manner. I hope you enjoyed the insights into the legendary fantastic saga that I shared with you today. If you found value in this content, please consider subscribing to this channel, hitting the notification bell, and leaving a comment. Share your thoughts on Dune. How do you feel about the film adaptation and what hidden meanings have you discovered? For now, I bid you farewell. Thank you for your attention and bye-bye.